bit of Gorilla Glue when I get home. Hey, at Woodland, it's a tractor kind of day. This morning I've got to do a bit of branch logging, have a bit of a tidy up, and I've just gone and broke my camera tripod. I'm a bit gutted about that. The magnets are so strong I've just ripped the whole socket assembly out of the tripod. The Gorilla Glue when I get home. Plus it's raining, but I'm getting wet today, and I don't really like getting wet. We'll crack on. All these rods here that are spares, they've got to be gone through the branch logger, and that rubbish there's got to go through the branch logger, and then all my offcuts there have got to go through the branch logger. So all of this, that's that cage that I did the other week. Some more rods that I don't think I'll get to use, but then somebody rang me Friday and says, can you make me 3 panels? Well, it's now July, nearly July, and that hazel was harvested in February, so it's getting all a little bit dry really. We'll give a couple of rods a bit of a test as a sample and see whether we can actually do some riving with this. Can you reach that in there? Let's see what happens. Yes, just about doable. Not bad, is it, that? So I guess we can get the branch logger in and do some of it, but not all of it because of these rods. What I'm going to do, just give me 5 minutes, I'll give this guy a ring. Well, that was quite the mystery. So I was trying to trace this call from what I believe was last Friday. Anyway, I rang this number because it must be that one. It turns out it was another lady who wants some fence panels. So it sounds like I might have got a job out of it anyway. So bottom line is, it doesn't look like I can branch log any hazel, because I might even have some more hazel panel orders, which I wasn't expecting. We have another breakdown, so we've just managed to snap another shear pin, which is in the PTO shaft, so that's okay, can all be replaced. I've got a couple of spares on me, but I've got no tools, so what I end up having to do is just loosely fit the nut on the end, which is what I did before, only I think I might have forgotten to take the PTO shaft off and actually give it a good old proper tighten. So of course this has been wobbling in the thing because it's not been clamped up tight, and it's just fatigued. You can see where the threads had rubbed away, and it's just snapped. And actually, I'm trying to work out, I don't think I've really done that much work with it, so that snapped pretty quick. And I'm like, oh, I've got no tools. Anyway, I've just been in the storage unit and I've found an Allen key that fits, so that's one job. And then I found a vise that I can grip the other end with, so I've just got to take the PTO shaft out because I can't do it with it in the machine. So I'm going to take the PTO shaft off and we'll have a look to see if we can get this fixed. done it. Let's hope we don't snap too many more of those. That's that area done. That's good news actually. My daughter can use the swing now, which will be good. There wasn't really enough room in the basket, so I'm going to have my dinner under cover and onto the next pile, which will be, oh, you're all dirty. The next pile is down the bottom end, which is that fresh hazel I cut down about a month ago. Just been eating some morello cherries, they're quite nice. I'd sort of forgotten how much there was down here, but this is going to take quite a while, I think. We've done it. Managed to get all the hazel done. I'll give you a quick look. Ooh. So that looks a bit better down there, doesn't it now? And we've managed to get some rods, which are there, so they'll need dressing. And there'll be a little bit of brash, but I'll tuck that in. It's only going to be little twiglets. I think the branch logger wants some very slight adjustment, because what we tend to get in is stuff that's not quite chopped through, like that one there. Now that could have been because of the species, hazel, and it's still quite green, and there's a lot of leaf material on it as well. So whether that's it, or I just think maybe the branch logger wants some very slight adjustment, so that the knives, they don't never touch, but they get just that little bit closer to sever the branches a bit better. I tell you what, we're going to have a look, see what the hazel's doing at the bottom end. So despite my best efforts, they are making a right mess of this sweet chestnut. Going to have to put some more brash on these, I think, to try and keep them off it. Just eating it off. So they've obviously smelt it, and now they're having a field day. Primitive, but I just stacked a bit of brash round because we've not got herds of roe deer or anything like that, or fallow deer. It's just this muntjac deer. Muntjacs tend to be more of a solitary deer. So they just come wandering through and browsing, but I've put this bit of brash round, and when I did that last year it seemed to deter them. But as for the hazel coppice, apart from the odd bit of browsing, you can see it all starting to grow, all these little tufts, and they are now about 2 foot high, and they will grow probably in this bit. By the end of August they'll probably be about 5 to 6 foot high, I imagine, as long as we can keep the muntjac at bay. Off we go home. Morning. What an awesome day. This morning we're back on the craft scene. This morning we had a call yesterday. In fact, it was a funny story. I rang a guy who rang me last week. Turns out I was ringing a woman who I didn't realise I was ringing. And so I said to her, oh, there's a guy wanted some hazel panels and I'm trying to get in contact with him. She says, well, I'm not the guy you're after, but actually I rang you about some hazel panels. So it sounds like I've got 2 orders to fulfil. Now I've got to make them out of rustic poles and not out of my usual square frame. Now I don't normally do these because the frames just don't last anywhere near as long because they've got bark on, But as long as people realise that. So that's today's mission. We've got to really rattle on with these, because I also want to get the charcoal burner lit. I've completely lost count. If you're not a bow saw user, ouch, that was a bit silly. I reckon they're absolutely brilliant. Now, handy tip, Daz's DIY don'ts. Don't buy the one with, I think you call it the Weck saw. So it's got like really a lot different teeth to this. They're not regular. They sort of have two joined together teeth and then one tooth, I think, and then two joined together. And they're designed for wet wood, only they snag, and they're that fierce you'll end up hurting yourself. So I buy the dry timber blades, which work absolutely brilliantly on wet timber, and you don't tend to get the jumps. And the jumps, what they'll do is they'll take your fingers off. So these are brilliant, love them. Got the all new modified chimney on. See how that's going to go. Now normally you guys don't get to see much that goes on behind the camera, but yesterday we had a tripod fail, and this is my tripod. It's a Ulanzi MT33, and I absolutely love it. And what my modification was, so just behind there is a quarter tripod style accessory screw, which is the same threads on as that one, and I got this magnet here with something else with this silly ball head, but I wanted the magnet, and I worked out that if I put it in there, which is quarter thread the same, it works absolutely amazingly. I love it. In fact, I use the magnet probably more than I actually use the tripod legs. I use the legs for on the ground and up against the trees, but the magnet works with the van, it works with the trailer, it works with the tractor, it works with the charcoal retorts, and the magnets are so strong. So there's 6 neodymium, whatever you call them, magnets in there. And what I tend to do is when it's stuck to a thing, I tend to lift it off with the tripod legs, and what's happened is it ripped the whole screw out of there and snapped the tripod. Now I'll give it some Gorilla Glue last night, but to be honest it's all a little bit flimsy wobbly now. I had no choice last night than to dib into my retirement pension and buy myself a new tripod. So we are limping along until I get my new tripod, which might be Wednesday, Thursday. We're limping along with my little old one, which I do like, and I looked last night at all these other options. I looked at Gorilla Pods and Gorilla Pods, and I've had one of them before and they snapped ever so quick. So this Ulanzi one I found really good, and the legs aren't super flexible, but they do hold their shape. Look, they're not bad for that. So you can grip it round trees, but the Gorilla Pods are better for that. What it could do with Ulanzi, if you're listening, what it could do with is magnets in the bottom. Some of the mini Gorilla Pods have magnets in the bottom, and that would actually be the ultimate solution, because then I could magnetize that. Just nothing too big, just magnet. Oh, that'd be awesome, that would. That's those 3 done. What I'll do then is I'll drop a nail in there. I mean, ideally you'd put a little peg in there or something, but just for efficiency's sake, I'll drop a little nail in there that holds the tenon in. Pop some Zales in. Off we go. Looks like this one's cooked, which is good news. My second barrel is cooking away nicely. It's on about 300 and 370, look. Just to explain, I was going to finish these panels today just to get them off my mind and done and finished. However, I'm at the Timber Festival at the end of the week, and part of the Timber Festival I have to do demonstrations. What I can do as part of the demonstration is actually make those panels. Timber Festival is great, but it's not one of those great sale days kind of scenarios. Yesterday's branch logging that we did to process this, so I've got to do is dredge these rods, and that's for the Timber Festival for the demo panels. Next job is to get these up to the top end. I just want to show you this. So if I do that, I don't know whether you remember doing that as kids. So maybe you are a kid and you still do it. No, I do. So it reminds me of this time of year. When I was about 6 or 7, I used to be at junior school, and there was a teacher there called Mr. Chapman. And Mr. Chapman apparently was a lovely guy. I don't remember him at all really. I remember his face vaguely. But anyway, he died of leukemia. So every year from that point on, while we were at school certainly, and while my younger sister was at school, they had a sponsored walk every year. And that was the old-fashioned sponsored walk where you went round all your neighbours and got 10p a mile. And we used to do between 4 and 5 miles, and we used to walk all around the villages, and we'd go to the park. But part of the journey was walking through farmers' fields. As the footpaths ran through the field, within the field there'd sometimes be the grasses that grew up, and you just, as you're walking along with your mates, you'd pull the grasses, and some were tough as anything. And then there's other ones like that one was so soft as you pull them up. I just thought, oh, what a great memory. So I just wondered, what is it that you remember doing as a kid that you probably still do? Something within nature. What is it you remember doing and you just reminds you of being a child again? Let me know in the comments. I'll be intrigued to have a look. Oh, it's nearly my own time. All in all, we've had a pretty good, productive sort of a day today. Tomorrow will be more prep for Timber Festival. We will see you in the morning. Don't be late. Morning. Glad you could make it. It's a bit bright and it's a bit dark behind me, isn't it? You can see that. Storm clouds are coming. So we were meant to be at the Woodland today. Kind of forgot, I still got stuff in the workshop to finish for the Timber Festival, so we are going to crack on with that. I've got some coat hooks to finish and some waxing to do, little discs for some pine needle baskets, but I thought I might mix it up and do hazel panel demonstration in the morning and pine needle basket making in the afternoon. We've got our pegs made, so tried to line them up ready, so we've got those. Hopefully we've got all our pegs made. If not, we'll have to just make some more.